Now, I know I met some of you. I want to know all of you. So on three, please shout out your first name. 1, 2, 3. This is a bold group. I like this. Okay, on three, I want to hear what schools you represent. On three, nice and loud. 1, 2, 3. Woo! Now, finally, I want to know your school mascot, but I do not want you to tell me what your school mascot is. I want to see it. I want to hear it. I want to know the sound or the gesture, whatever that may be. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. This is a bold group. Bold is beautiful. Bold is beautiful. I want to be really clear. When I say bold is beautiful, I am not saying bald. Too soon. Bold is beautiful. My name is Sean, University of Florida alumni. Go Gators. Now I have a question. Have you ever needed to talk? Have you ever needed to talk, to really talk, had no one to talk to? Like maybe your friends were there, your family, perhaps a classmate. You just didn't want to talk to them about whatever was going on, right? Your stuff, they wouldn't get it. They wouldn't understand. So here's what I wonder. I wonder if you bumped into the fix. The fix, right? Like, I don't feel so well. Go for a run. Take an aspirin. Take a nap. It's like not wrong, but it's just not so helpful, right? Or maybe you ran into the deny. Like I failed my exam. Failure's not an option. Right? Or I'm depressed. You don't look depressed. Right? You don't look depressed. I wonder what stuff's out there in your world, right? So you bump up against a fixer or a denier, and I'm wondering what your world is like. Like, do you have the fixers? Say yes? Yes. Do you have the deniers? Yes. Do you have anything else you bump up against, like maybe comparing? Yes. Say it out loud if you have some. Shaming. Yes. Scream it out loud. Say it out loud. Guilt tripping. Yes. Anything else? Jealousy. Say it. Yes. Gaslighting. Minimizing. On and on and on, right? Here's the thing, it's not wrong, it's just not so helpful, and sometimes, as you probably know, it is harmful. So I'm a New Yorker. After I got out of college, I went back to New York, right? I'm living, I'm working, I'm a teacher. I got a good life, and after a few years, I get to travel and live abroad. I go to Tanzania. I go to Japan. I go to Saudi Arabia. I go to Argentina. This is a good life. I have friends. I have work. All the while, I am in pain. But you do what you have to do, right? You study, you work. And here's the thing, here's the truth. I am a straight, white, middle class, North American, able-bodied man. You are looking at privilege. You are looking at all caps privilege right here. But here's the thing, over time, the pain gets worse. Way worse. Until last year, when there was no one else to talk to. I mean, to really talk, I checked myself into a psychiatric hospital. Right? I sign in, I want you to imagine this, I sign in, I'm taken to this small little room. It's like a bathroom stall, they take my stuff, they give you this little gown and these aqua blue socks. These aqua blue socks with white rubber on the bottom. I suppose they don't want you to slip or slide away. And then you wait. I waited, I'm locked in, and when the nurse finally gets me to take me up to the emergency room, that's the second stop, the emergency room, because there's always more people that need help than there are beds to help them. That's any hospital. When the nurse finally takes me up to the emergency room, I am escorted by 2 armed police officers. The truth is, that was the good part. Nobody knew where I was. I had nobody to talk to, and I needed to talk. To really talk, and I needed somebody to talk to because I was slipping and sliding away. And we don't like to talk about that stuff. The slipping, the sliding. Pain. Pain like, and listen, call it out. Pain like what? Pain like grief. Pain like sadness. Loneliness. Be bold. Be bold here. Pain like what?
Regret.
Pain like regret and remorse. Fear. Frustration. We don't like to talk about that stuff. Yeah, it's a long list. I stayed in that emergency room for 2 days, and I was talked at and evaluated, and I'm sure everybody in here knows exactly what that's like. But mostly I was ignored. And when I was moved upstairs to the actual psych unit, I was worse than when I came in. But I got some help. I got some help. Stayed there for 5 days, quiet space, medical attention. But here's the thing, it's not what helped most, and it's not what I needed most. What helped me most, what helped most was having a few, just a handful of people to really talk to. That's the truth. A couple of the other patients, a few of the nurses, my sister, they stepped up and they were bold. I don't use that word lightly, that bold word. Here's the thing, you need to be bold to talk about your stuff. It is hard, but you need to be just as bold to let someone talk and to really talk. And I share that story about my stay in the hospital, not to be dramatic, certainly not for pity, but just to remind you of how important, how powerful, and how helpful that can be. Because here's the thing, there's not much we can do. There's so little we can do to help. But you can do that. You can do that. You can try, because it's hard and it's awkward and it's uncomfortable. But that is what leaders do. That's exactly what leaders do. They try. And they tackle tough stuff, and this is tough stuff. So a few weeks ago, I gave a talk at a college, and after the talk, one of the students came up. He said, "Man, you are a little dark, bold." He said, "I didn't want to ask you this question during the Q&A, but what was the worst part for you? What was the worst part of that experience?" Now, I didn't know if he was talking about my stay in the hospital or something else I had shared. Silence. That's what I said to him. The silence. Because that, to me, that's dark. Talking about it is not dark. I want you to imagine that you need to talk, that you need to really, really talk. And I want you to think of one word. Like for me, the word is compassionate. When I think about those nurses, when I think about my sister, when I think about those other patients who stepped up, bold compassion. I want to give you a few moments. I want to ask you what that word would be for you when you're sitting across from somebody and they're letting you really talk. Anyone want to share? Go ahead. Yeah. Bold sincerity, bold understanding. Thank you. Here's why I asked that question. It matters. Slide. I want you to take a quick look at that. I'm getting off the stage because I don't want you to be looking at me. That's the only thing I want you to remember. That arrow. It's college students. The National Collegiate Health Assessment, a lot smarter than I am. I'm not much of a numbers guy. I'm not much of an images guy. But that arrow is what anxiety, depression, suicidal thoughts, suicide attempts, and suicides. That's what's going on college campuses. It's just I wonder if we could have a little more of that compassion. What was your word? Understanding and sincerity. If we could have those words and just spend a little more time and energy with those words and a little less time with the fixing and the denying, the gaslighting, everything else, what your world would look like. What it would look like for those around you. Yes or no? We all have stuff. Yes or no? We all have stuff. Be straight. Yes or no? We all need to talk. I mean, really talk. Yes or no? We all need somebody to talk to. I have one last question, one last request. I want to see your socks. I want to see your socks. Come on, how much time here? I want to see your socks. Be bold. Be bold. Be bold. Be bold. It's awkward. It's uncomfortable. Let me see your socks. I want to show you something. You see these? Seriously. Seriously, I'm running out of time. I just want to tell you I mean this. Please, 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 let's do what we can. We can't do much, but let us do what we can do to stop or save or slow down that slipping and sliding. Bold is beautiful. Thank you very much.
Sean Lawrence, bold is beautiful. Bold is beautiful. Let me remind you, we're going to be doing a drawing as soon as we have.